love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now waiting, better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything.
Hey everybody, this is Praxis, and today's the day I'm going to be doing the cuts into these pipes, getting ready to put gray water out into the greenhouse over there. I'm always a little nervous when something like this is about to happen, because once you start chopping into pipes and things like that, there's no going back. So I've really thought this through, and I want to make sure that I get everything positioned properly. I've got a little lamp there, just a flashlight illuminating a piece of trash from the recyclables in there to give me some soft light up here. And I've got two cuts, well, four cuts that I'm going to do. One cut is right here, and you can see I've got this piece of paper wrapped around. The reason I have the piece of paper wrapped around is so that I've got a nice line to cut on. I find oftentimes when I'm cutting through pipes like this, I'll end up getting kind of crooked as I go through it, and especially where this stuff is like crammed in there and I can barely reach it and everything. I really wanted a nice guide so I could do the straightest line that I possibly could. So I've got one line here, and the other one is right up in here. Here's the other piece of paper, and we're going to be cutting across there. I'm going to be using this, I forget what these are called. It's like a little oscillating saw. It's good for getting into, you know, kind of awkward areas. So there's going to be two cuts right there. One to put on a switch here, and the other valve switch will go right on there. So once I make these cuts, I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to make another set of cuts. These are the two pipes in question. This one right here, and this one right here is what we're going to cut. Out here, I'm not going to bother with a piece of paper because I've got this nice straight piece of wood here, and I'm going to use this as a guide for just a handsaw, and I'm going to use the handsaw to cut out those sections. So from here and here over to there, we're going to take the pieces out, and once they're out, I'm going to be able to take my time with getting these valves put into them, and then we're going to glue them back up in there. While I'm working with the valves, I'm going to be taking off the switch components, unscrewing all this stuff. The reason you want to do that is that when you're applying the cement to the ends, you don't want to accidentally glue the switch in place. So you want to take all that stuff out. Now there's a couple different ways that I could install these. One would be with the screws and everything facing up, and the other is with the screws and everything facing down. My preference would be to have the screws and all that not facing down, because that's where the leak could potentially happen. If I have it positioned like this, there's absolutely no way in the world that this thing would ever be able to leak. But the problem with installing them with the switch and all of the screws facing up is, if you can look up in here, for one thing, it would make it really awkward to get at the switch. I'm not that worried about that though, because you know, I'm probably never even really going to use this switch. It's just kind of like a, you know, backup just in case kind of thing. But the real problem is reassembling the thing with all of these screws on the top. You know, how am I going to get at the screws to retighten them all down if, you know, they're facing away from me and I've got all this stuff in the ceiling and everything in my way. So I think I'm going to be having the screws facing down. Now that does create the potential for possibly a leak, but I have used one of these types of valves before in the past. At my last homestead, we installed one of these when we created a gray water system there, and it's been there for at least 10 years, and that one was installed sideways like this. So, you know, it had every potential and possibility of leaking, and it's never ever leaked. So that doesn't guarantee that these aren't going to leak, but it makes me feel a little bit better about installing them, especially where these pipes, it's not pressurized water that's going through these. It's just water kind of flowing through, no pressure really. So I'm not super nervous about it, but if for some reason they were to leak, this is what they're going to leak onto, is just this 3/4 inch board ceiling right here. You can actually see this little knot hole going right up through there. So if they ever did start to leak, it wouldn't be an issue where the water would, you know, go flowing off in different directions, and I wouldn't know about it for years, and it would just be a mold issue. I'd know right away that there was a leak, and I could go up and I could address it. So that's what we're doing today. Doing the cuts, putting the pipes in, and from the moment that I cut through these pipes, the upstairs bathroom is non-functional. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get all this stuff installed all in one day, and then put it back. I guess in the next video you'll find out how it all went. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hey YouTube preppers, this project is actually finished. If you'd like to see how it all wraps up, click on this video right over here.